With artist Rachel G. All right, you guys, I have big news. Sage words. Sage words to share. Can you hear me? I would love a thumbs up if you can hear me. Super appreciate that because the mics, they all do their own thing. All right, so this is what's going on. I am just going to check and see if I can share my Instagram live feed while I am live on Instagram Live. It seems I cannot. This is good to know. All right. So if you are watching me right now on Facebook or YouTube, thank you so much for joining. Glad to have you here. Hope you can hear me. If you are interested if you're watching on Instagram, you are going to be able to get a bird's eye view in a few seconds of what I'm painting. So this is what happened. I'm on the phone with a friend, pardon me, and she says to me that she's got this sage words, some new learnings. She's got new learnings and she's ready to share them with me. Am I interested in hearing them? Because polite people don't just assume you'd like to have their opinions and advice, but rather she was asking, like, I just learned this new thing. Are you interested in hearing about it? So I immediately said, sage words are best shared, meaning yes, please do share them with me. And the way that it came out and the cadence in which I spoke was so uh I was taken aback by it. It's as I mean, it sounded as though I was either quoting some great philosopher or some amazing author, or I mean, at the very least, a Chinese fortune cookie. And my friend and I went on and on laughing about how the fact that this whole thing was uh, just these words of wisdom that I said. The words, sage words are best shared. That felt so good to me. Well, turns out, next thing you know, my friend can't remember the original sage words that she was planning to share with me. So at the end of the day, all we knew was that the sage words are best shared. However, we didn't quite know the sage words that were originally brought that whole brilliance upon us. So, two things are happening. One, I am about to create a painting that is about sage words, stating that sage words are best shared. Also, I am interested in everybody else sharing sage words. I want to know, what are the sage words that you would share? So not only do I want to know what sage words would you share, but should you share them with me via the link that is either in my profile on Instagram or it's dropped into the description on there. If you share with me your sage words and your address, I will create a piece of artwork for you for free and send it to you. That will be showing my appreciation for your sharing of the sage words. That said, sage words are words that are chosen impeccably. So they need to be prize-worthy sage words to share. All right, so I'm gonna get. So there's anybody. It's not a contest. It's just a call to action, a call to share, sage words. Teach me the things that you do, that you know how to do, that are wise and should be shared. Um, and in turn, I will attempt to teach you as well. So what we're going with here is, I just feel like I need to write it again. Sage words. Sage words are best shared. So I'm asking y'all to share your sage words. Share them with me. Drop them in the comments. Uh, Looking forward, and if you're looking for a different view right now, if you're on Facebook, if you hop over to Artist Rachel G on Instagram, you can get the above view, and vice versa on Instagram. If you are looking for a side view, or half of my face, not even my whole face, then pop on over to Facebook. All right, I'm just pouring out some paint right now. I am thinking about sage words are best shared. And I'm gonna get after that in a moment with this paint. Do I want to write sage in paint? Interesting. I don't hate it. It's gonna do some spreading though and some moving in a good way. I wonder where I put my paintbrush. Got lost in the pens. There it is. All right. So, what sage words do you have to share? And should you choose to share them with me, know that I will create a piece of artwork inspired by your sage words if they are prizeworthy, if they are impeccably chosen words. That a whole impeccably chosen word thing comes from the Four Agreements, which is from Toltec wisdom. And it says to be impeccable with your word, which I think is a very good idea to live by. Be impeccable with your word. And so these shared sage words, best shared, that you send to me, they will be judged on whether or not you have chosen your words impeccably. So think clearly and get free art. Sage words. I need to see what this is. What do I have going on here? My paint. Got a lot of air bubbles, just making it hard to see what kind of viscosity I'm working with. I've got a mix of golden acrylic, high flow, and fluid going on here. The fluid is the yellow green. There, that bubble pop. That's nice. Thank you. All right, so we're going to use this to get, I dig it, sage words. I could use a bigger paintbrush right now. I might have to switch. Sage words. That was a weird R. So these were my sage words of today. But the sage words that I actually, other than the fact that this actually came out of my mouth, and that I'm trying to remember what Ashley was going to share. Uh, my nephew Love got a fortune cookie the other day, and it read, "You will soon use a nail clipper." No, that's not what it read, but that's what I wanted it to read. It read, "All generalities are false," and I found that to be a brilliant little snippet of sage words. All generalities are false. What do you guys think? Let that marinate for a minute. I definitely believe all generalities are false. I believe knowing all generalities are false is, in fact, knowing some sage words, which, as recently established, sage words are best shared. Yeah, check that out. Oh, those colors are cool together. I hope you guys can see little coloring properly. It's not ideal. I wish I could listen to music while I was on these. Instead, I've got like half songs kind of swirling through my head right now, which just isn't, given how music is such a huge part of the process of creating sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. Makes me really wish that I could share the music with y'all. And I wonder if they figured out a way to do that yet, and I just don't know. I suppose that's something I should look into. Anyway, I am asking once again for those of you who speak impeccably or who are impeccable with your word, who happen to have some sage words to share, that you please do share them, because sage words are best shared. And if you do share your sage words with me, as well as your address, your mailing address, I will create a painting inspired by your sage words, or drawing a piece of artwork that I will send to you, just as a thank you for sharing some thoughts and inspiration with me. So there's that. There's a link in my bio to sharing your sage words if you're on Instagram, or it's in the there's a link in the description of this glorious video on Facebook and YouTube, I think. Whatever platform in which you're streaming this in, thank you so much for tuning in. I can't even begin to tell you the profound difference it makes when people tune in and people share and like. I mean, it's an amazing amount of control that the outside world actually does have. So it's pretty exciting. And help a help a girl out. You help an artist out. If you're seeing an artist creating, or you have a friend who is an artist who's creating, and doing all this stuff when they're online and they're like, I'm just gonna start singing now because it's kind of like being in a classroom and classroom singing is fun. It just happens. These songs just sort of start to come out. Anyway, all of you who stop by and say hello, I appreciate you. Thank you. All right, we were painting a full statement here, not just sage words, but sage words are best shared. Do I want to write directly from the paint again? I don't think so. Sage words are best shared. So drop some sage words, share them. What have you heard? What do you know? Also, I mean, make sure to cite people if they're not your sage words. For example, the fortune cookie the other day that says all generalities are false. Sage words, I can't tell you who wrote it, but I can tell you it wasn't me. I can also tell you it was on a fortune cookie. Whereas what happened this morning with my amazing statement, sage words are best shared. That one right there, I don't need to cite who said it because it was me, y'all. So I hope that the volume is still working out and all over the place. And I'm so pleased to have you around. Sage words. I'm looking for sage words. Send them my way. Share them. Share them with me. I think it's a really nice way of inspiring some art making and reminding people of good things. So art, you know, art brings so much joy. Why not have some of the joy be like your to-do list or your reminders? For example, I once made a to-do list, fully graphic designed. It was like brush your dog, and yet it looked beautiful. Or maybe even just the word breathe, really large, painted on a canvas. Like that's gonna make you feel good. And you are gonna be psyched. You are gonna be psyched to get to look at that as a reminder, a daily reminder. Because sometimes we need reminders, y'all. All right, sage words are best. I think I'm gonna write shared in paint, like direct from the bottle again. Not ideal, but let's see how we do. All right. All right, all right. Got a little bit of movement that making it a little wonkier. Seems we may have lost the R completely in here. There's the R. I feel like this green paint is best shared right now too. Yeah, so I'm on a mission. I'm, mostly just grateful to be have people who are willing to share some sage words of with me. And if you do, and you send me your mailing address, I will send you a piece of art inspired by or connected to in some way, in my opinion, connected to the sage words that you shared. And I'm going to keep singing for you, and I'm going to keep hooping for you, and I'm going to keep rooting for you, and I'm going to keep laughing at myself. And I hope that y'all are doing well. And that's that. Keep making some art. The art feels good. I'll set up a video camera, so I'll make sure to keep recording what's happening here. And in the meantime, please share your sage words and have an awesome day.